بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. This is the brief translation of pieces of advice that was given to us, the Ummah group that consisted of brothers from Canada and America, with the company of Dr. Abdur Rahmaan al-Umaysan. May Allah Azza wa Jalla preserve him. This advice was given by the noble Shaykh and scholar Abdur Rahmaan MuhyidDeen, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. This advice was given on the 12th night of Sha'ban in the year 1439 in the Prophet's Masjid in the city of Al-Madinah in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Shaykh Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he began by saying, we praise Allah, the one who has guided us to this religion. And had Allah not guided us to this religion, we would not have been guided. The Shaykh went on to mention that Allah Azza wa Jal created us with purpose. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He gave us intellects. And He addresses us according to the intellects that He has given us. Allah Azza wa Jal, He created Adam alayhi salam, and He taught Adam the names of all things. Blessed be Allah. With this intellect and the knowledge that Allah has given, people know the good from the bad. People know the truth from falsehood. People know the sweet from the sour. And with that being stated, we must know that it is obligatory upon us to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is an obligation that is upon all of mankind and all of the jinn. But as for the one who does not have sound intellect, and the person is insane, then the pen is lifted from this individual, and he or she is not responsible for worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The intellect is something that is important. For this reason, Allah Azza wa Jal has prohibited anything that negatively affects a person's intellect. And the preservation of one's intellect falls under the category of preserving the 5 necessities. As Islam has come to preserve the 5 necessities: one's religion, one's life, one's wealth, one's intellect, and one's honor and lineage. Allah Azza wa Jal, He wants good for His servants. He doesn't want evil for them. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He created all mankind. And all of the people are equal. There is no superiority to the Arab over the non-Arab. There is no superiority to the white over the black or the black over the white, except with the implementation of the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except with the implementation of the Taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Shaykh, he says, but what is the taqwa of Allah? He said that the taqwa of Allah is that you place between yourself and the punishment of Allah a shield and a barrier that will protect you from the severe punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should fear Allah's punishment and be afraid of it and place a shield between us and Allah's punishment. This is the meaning of having the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jal is real, the punishment of Allah Azza wa Jal will take place, and there's no way for one to deflect the punishment of Allah except by being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, adhering to the commandments of Allah and leaving off the prohibitions. But the one who is disobedient to Allah, then this individual, he subjects himself to the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of the people are the same in this affair. Is it that the one who is from Saudi, he will not be punished, but yet the one from America will be punished? The Shaykh says no. All the people are the same in this regard. Those who disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the one, or these are the ones who are subjected to the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But those who have the taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then these are the ones who protect themselves from Allah's punishment. So punishment, it comes along with disobedience. And disobedience to Allah is to either leave off implementing the commandment of Allah or to indulge in that which Allah has prohibited. For Allah Azza wa Jal, He is the creator, and He is the one who commands. As Allah Azza wa Jal mentions that for Him is the matter of creation and the matter of commandment. So the one who creates is the one who has the right to give commands and orders. And it is upon us, barakallahu fikum, to adhere to the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For we all are from the creation of Allah. So whatever we come across in the book of Allah, from the commandments of Allah, we take these commands and implement them. Allah, He commands us to pray 5 times a day. Allah Azza wa Jal commands us with being truthful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to fulfill the trust. Likewise, you have the prohibitions. Allah being the creator, He has the right to prohibit. So Allah Azza wa Jal made usury and interest prohibited. Allah Azza wa Jal, He made illegal sexual intercourse prohibited. Allah Azza wa Jal, He made polytheism prohibited. So Allah, He is the one who gives commandments, and He is the one who prohibits. So it is important that a person protects himself from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Night and day, one must protect oneself from Allah's punishment by not leaving off the commandments, rather implementing them, and by not indulging in the haram, rather he abandons that which Allah has made haram. And the Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala, he advised us, mentioning the importance of not sitting with the people who do wrong. And he gave the example of the one was consuming intoxicants, that if we do not have the ability to change the situation, we should not sit with this individual while this individual is indulging in that which is haram. And know that the earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is vast. So one should not sit with the people who do evil and indulge in that which Allah has prohibited. And know that the best of you are the ones who have the taqwa of Allah. These are the strongest of the people. The one who stops at that which Allah has prohibited. So we must fear Allah. As Allah Azza wa Jal, He has praised the people in His book who fear Him. And know that we are tested in this life. The life of this world is a testing ground. We all are tested. The scholar is tested. The ignorant person is tested. The strong, they are tested. The weak, they are tested. The rich are tested. The poor are tested. Everyone is tested. The rich, they are tested to see if they're going to be grateful for that which Allah has given them. And the poor, they are tested to see if they're going to be patient with that which Allah has tested them with of poverty. People are tested with good health. People are tested with sickness. The Muslims are tested. The non-Muslims are tested. Everyone is tested. And know that we will be held accountable for the knowledge that we have. We'll be called to question about the knowledge that we have. And likewise, we are responsible when it comes to calling the non-Muslims to Islam. And Allah Azza wa Jal will hold us to account as to whether or not we conveyed His religion. The Shaykh mentions the importance of calling to the religion of Allah by way of knowledge and actions. And he mentioned how this is the true da'wah. We don't just call with knowledge, but we also call the people to Islam with our actions. We call the people to Islam with our behavior and our mannerisms. So the scholar, he is responsible. And likewise, the ignorant person has responsibilities. The Arab, they're responsible, and the non-Arab are also responsible. The Muslims, they are responsible, and likewise the non-Muslims, they have their responsibilities. So this matter of having knowledge and actions will be questioned about these affairs. You will be questioned whether or not did you call the people to Islam. People will be questioned and called to task over the matters of shirk and tawheed. So be aware. The Shaykh mentioned, speaking about the book of Allah, the Qur'an, how the Qur'an, it is a proof for you or it is a proof against you. The Qur'an is a proof for you when you read the Qur'an and you implement the Qur'an. And the Qur'an is a proof against you when you do not implement the Qur'an and you know it. So we all read and we all are responsible. And the Shaykh mentioned, and we all are tested. The sick are tested, the healthy are tested. The sick are tested with their sickness to see whether or not they're going to be patient. The healthy are tested with their health to see whether or not they're going to be grateful. The Shaykh mentions, so the advice is that we have the taqwa of Allah. For indeed the taqwa of Allah is the greatest thing in our lives. And we must be grateful for that which Allah Azza wa Jal has given us of provisions. And be mindful, do not eat from the haram. Rather only consume that which is lawful and wholesome. And the Shaykh mentioned, stay away from those things that are haram within itself, as well as those things that are haram due to its situations. The Shaykh says this is our life as Muslims. Being upon the commandment of Allah, having the taqwa of Allah, being mindful of Allah, and the happiest of the people are the people of taqwa. And this Qur'an, it teaches us the best methodology to traverse upon. As this Qur'an, it is the best book for all of mankind. And this is a summary and brief regarding the advice that was given to us by the noble Shaykh Abdur Rahmaan MuhyidDeen. May Allah Azza wa Jal preserve him and place his advice upon his scales of good on the Day of Judgment. And may Allah Azza wa Jal reward the brothers who facilitated this Umrah trip and facilitated the meeting with the Shaykh, the likes of our brother and teacher Shaykh Dr. Abdur Rahmaan Al-Urmaysan. May Allah Azza wa Jal preserve him, and likewise our brother Ilyas Al-Kanadi Al-Somali. May Allah Azza wa Jal preserve them both and place this upon their scales of good. Wa subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.